Okay, we're taking Sonia Toscana to a whole new level. We're going to have some fun here. I'm going to start off a couple of things. I've got my salmon cooking, and I'm going to prepare a dessert that's absolutely amazing. And it's incredibly simple. You gotta love it. Okay, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to start out, and I'm going to do my apples. You already see some here, and I'm just going to show you. You quarter your apple, you take the core out of it, whatever, and this doesn't have to be difficult. You just kind of cut it up a little bit, right there, and you got your apple that's done. Now I'm using, in this case, I'm using a combination of Granny Smith and Rayburn. And the reason I'm using those two is because they have both little of the colors, and they have different flavors. The Granny Smith is going to be just a little bit tart, and the Rayburn is going to be a little sweeter, so it kind of makes a nice combination. I'm actually going to use some butter in this one, in my base. And I'm also going to do something a little different that might surprise you. The Amalfi Lemon Olive Oil is incredible. The Amalfi lemons are the same things they make the limoncello out of. And it's extraordinary. And you take one oh, I mean, it is so rich. It is so rich. So I'm going to take a little bit of this and I'm going to put it in along with my base here. And I'm going to cook my apples in that. I'm also going to kind of get unhinged a little bit here. We're going to keep it to adults. I don't know if it's X-rated or not, but a little brandy, huh? What do you think? I'm going to put a little brandy in here and cook it out. It will cook out, so there's not going to be alcoholic value in it once it's done. But it certainly has an awful lot of flavor. And I'm only going to use a little bit of it. It doesn't take much for what I'm going to do here. Then I'm going to put in my apples. And I've got a little trick that I'm going to show you along the way here. I'm going to get these started. And I'm just going to saute them in here. They're going to pick up some color, and they're going to get soft. Now I want them to get soft, but not completely limp. They're not going to be like that, old apple pie thing where they're just completely limp, all soaked into one. They're still going to have some life, some flavor, and some texture to them when I'm done. Now what I've done here is I've taken the mixture. I'm going to use this for a lot of things. Now this is mostly sugar, maybe a teaspoon of cinnamon and a teaspoon of, this is my favorite ingredient. I'm sharing a big secret here, my chili powder. This is extraordinary. Balance of flavors and textures and spice and what have you. Once this cooks to a certain point, I'm going to put a little of this in here. I'm also going to do my pecans. I'm going to candy my pecans with the same mixture. And they are extraordinary. So you'll pick me up here in just a minute. I'm going to kind of fast forward to this part and show you what happens when I'm doing the pecans along the way as the apples continue to cook. So hang in there with me. We'll fast forward. Now, before we cut away, I will say this. I'm also going to add some banana. If you saw the banana here, I'm going to show you what we can do. Now you can use bananas, you can use mangoes, you can use all different kinds of fruit to make this dish. It's extraordinary. So we're going to have some fun with it. And I'm going to show you how you don't have to cook this out very much, but a little bit in here is again, it's a great addition. So we're going to have some fun with this. So we'll cut away, and I'll start my pecans, and I'll be right back with you. Okay, I'm just doing my pecans here. I want to show you how this is done. I'm using just a little more brandy in the pan. This is so simple. Anybody can do it. You can do it with pecans, walnuts, any kind of nut you want. It's a very simple thing to do. Now I've blended my sugar. I've got the ratio that I want. You can use more or less sugar. The reason I always combine my cinnamon and, in this case, chili powder, the reason I always combine them with the sugar is because it doesn't clump up. Cinnamon by itself will clump up, and so will the chili powder. It will tend to clump up a little bit. Now what I'm going to do with my pecans here is I just want to cover my pan. I don't want to get them all stacked up. I want to make sure they all get candy. This is a very simple thing to do, and it doesn't take long. I'm just going to move around in the pan here a little bit, maybe just a little bit more of this. And it's amazing. You get the sweet from the sugar, you get that unique cinnamon flavor, and there's going to be just a hint of spice in this when it's done. It's incredible. You're just going to love this. It's amazing. This is an amazing dish that you can do very simply. It doesn't take long to do it, and I promise you, this is going to impress your guests. They're going to think you went out and had this all made for you or something. But again, in the interest of meals and minutes minus the mystery, this is stuff that you can do so quickly. It doesn't have to take a long time. Now I've got my apples cooking nicely. I'm going to take my banana and I'm going to grab my knife here, and I'm going to just take my banana and put a few slices. The banana does not need to cook very long. Oops, we're rolling away here. Isn't that fun? The banana doesn't need to cook very long. All we need to do is kind of heat it up. Now you can do this dish with bananas by themselves, and it's great. It takes about 5 minutes to do the whole thing. including your candied nuts. We're going to top this with some ice cream and some glaze when it's all done. Oh man, it's one of those things you just can't stop eating. And you tell yourself you're done, but you're really not. You just want to eat more. My apples are browning nicely. When I get this all done, you are absolutely going to love it. And this is absolutely part of Meals in Minutes, minus the mystery. I hope I've removed some of the mystery. Can't eat well. Once again, you're going to live well. Isn't that great? Okay, now we did the salmon. And after you've had that and you've saved a little bit of room, you know, because you can't resist this next thing. Look at this. I mean, this is the apples. They're just nice. They've still got their shape. There's a lot of flavor going on. While I was cooking them, I put a little of the extra cinnamon mixture on it to cook in with it. Extraordinary. Now, I'm going to use that. I'm going to take a really good vanilla ice cream. Now, I like to use the ones the ones you have to pay more for, but it's worth it because you're going to get really true vanilla and not a whole bunch of other things ingredients you can't read. You really want to make this a good, healthy meal. That's part of this whole objective here. This is so simple. It's beautiful. Everybody's going to think, of course, that this was professionally prepared. Why not? It was. You're the chef. You know what a chef is? A chef is a poet. A poet uses words to create experiences and emotions, and a chef does the same thing with food. And it should be the kind of experience that you always remember. You can share with family and loved ones. Put a little bit of those pecans on there. We get the flavors all mixed in there. We get the textures, that ice cream. I had let the apples cool down just a little bit so the ice cream didn't melt too fast, but it melts a little bit. And then I'm going to finish it with this. And again, this glaze is extraordinary. You can use it on anything. Lots of your desserts, strawberries, and various kinds of fruit. And you tell me if that's not something that you would just love to eat. Save room, eat well, live well. This is incredible. Okay, I know I already signed off on this thing, but you know what? This is so good. This is one that the chef can't resist. And I'll tell you what, you're going to cook this up. There's probably going to be a portion of it that's gone before any guests ever see it. So I'm going to get a little bit of the apple, a little bit of the ice cream, a little pecans. Eat well, live well. You're going to love it, and I know I am. This is good stuff. You've got to love it.